If you play League of Legends regularly, you have probably had at least once one of those games where something goes wrong in the first 3 minutes and you feel like the game is already lost. Well, I think that this is for a reason. League of Legends might be a bit too snowbally, but let's not get to that conclusion just yet. If you look at the surface of the statistics, the average game duration is not too low, so games should be not one-sided based on a particular event in the early game, right? Well, not exactly. While the average game duration is definitely not too short, many games are drawn out for extended periods of time by the losing team in unsuccessful attempts to defend. What I mean by that is, games take time to close even when you have a lead, but comebacks, while possible, are not consistent at all. According to official data, over 20% of the games are already nearly unwinnable for the team that is behind by the 15-minute mark. In those games, the team which is ahead has at least 90% chance of winning the game. In another 30% of the games, the team which is losing by the 15-minute mark has less than 25% chance of winning the game. The rest of the games can be considered as even, with each team having between 25 and 50% chance of winning the game. Based on this data, we can say that League of Legends is definitely a snowball game, and that is in no way a bad thing. You're not playing those 15 minutes for no reason, and knowing that your lead will most likely result in a win is indeed a good thing. Comebacks should not be encouraged too much, but considering that 15 minutes is roughly 60% of the average game duration, should it have this much more than 60% of the impact? Because, as I mentioned earlier, in more than 50% of the games, the team which is ahead is more than 75% likely to win the game. Therefore, it can be said that the early game is the most important for the outcome of a League of Legends game. The thing about Snowball is that it is very subjective. For some people, it is in a good state. For others, it is too oppressive. For another group, it is not encouraged enough. In my opinion, it is just a bit too oppressive. What is your opinion on the state of Snowball? Share it in the comments. Now let's analyze some more data. This time it is from the website League of Graphs, rather than officially from Riot, so take it with a grain of salt. According to this data, the team that achieves first blood is 60% likely to win the game. While at first glance this number might seem quite high, first blood is usually taken by the stronger laner who would have a better impact for his team in the rest of the game anyways. Still, it is good to know that your team taking first blood means that you are a lot more likely to win the game than you normally are. Moving on to even more data, the first team to take a dragon is 70% likely to win the game. Now that is a bit problematic in my opinion. Not that dragons are too strong, they are not. But this indicates a deeper problem inside the game. Bot lane dominance often decides entire games. The team to take the first dragon is usually the one which has the winning bot lane. So there is no surprise, the number is all the way up at 70%. Even without the type of Drake even being specified. Same goes for first tower actually. 70% is simply too much. If the data in this site is true, then my suspicion that the game is a bit too snowball decided is getting confirmed, I guess. Let's compare information about other objectives. The first team to take a Baron wins 80% of the time, and the first team to take an inhibitor wins 90% of the time. Why do we even need a Nexus and 3 of those guys if losing one of them means you have a 10% chance to win the game? I mean, not that playing for a 10% chance to win is not worth it, but it is just a bit too low considering most of your base is still up at the moment you lose your first inhibitor. While this data is not necessarily true, it does not seem to be in a conflict with the official numbers from Riot. If the case really is what it seems like, then games might be a bit too one-sided most of the time. While objectives are important, they should not be just an accelerator boost to the winning team, but this is exactly what happens a lot of the time. Yeah, outsmiting is a thing, but how is your jungler going to even reach that Baron if he gets one shot through the wall? This is of course just my opinion, and I understand why the game developers are not willing to make the game less snowballing. Snowballing is fun, it is addictive, it makes the game more interesting, and lessening the snowball can result in the game becoming straight up boring. Overall, I think that even though Snowball might be a bit out of line, Riot Games are doing their job well enough when it comes to that, because having gameplay which is a bit too aggression focused is still better than sacrificing a lot of the fun elements of the game in order to make room for comebacks. Thanks for watching, remember to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this type of videos, and leave a like if you found this particular video interesting. Bye bye.